Gruesome discovery: teen found dead in pool of blood. In the spring of 2009, a wound that would never heal was left in the heart of Craig Schneller and the entire community of Wausau. Brianna Schneller, his beautiful 18-year-old daughter, passed away forever in a heartbreaking tragedy just 1 month before her graduation from D.C. Everest Senior High School. Brianna, or Bree as her loved ones called her, was a vibrant young woman with a radiant smile that never left her face. She was in the prime of her life, with a bright future ahead and a beautiful love story with her fiancé Sebastian Ramirez. They lived together in an apartment in Wausau with Hugo, Sebastian's brother. Life seemed peaceful and happy, but fate did not smile upon Brianna on that fateful Saturday morning of May 2nd, 2009. As usual, the Ramirez brothers left the apartment to work at El Tequila Salsa restaurant in Rib Mountain around 10 a.m., leaving Brianna at home. She also worked at another Mexican restaurant in the area called El Mezcal. In the afternoon, when Hugo Ramirez returned, he was terrified to discover Brianna lying motionless, showing no signs of life with numerous signs of beating and stabbing. The investigation was quickly launched with the participation of the most experienced detectives from the Wausau Police Department. Evidence at the scene indicated this was an exceptionally brutal murder. The victim had been savagely beaten and stabbed multiple times, suggesting the perpetrator may have acted in a rage or had deep-seated hatred as a motive. The first lead came from employees at El Tequila Salsa restaurant, where the Ramirez brothers worked. According to investigation records, on that fateful morning, Ponce Rocha had left El Tequila Salsa claiming he was going to buy cigarettes. Security cameras captured images of his car moving toward Brianna's apartment. In that brief period, a brutal crime occurred. The investigation quickly focused on Ponce Rocha after his colleagues at El Tequila Salsa reported his unusual behavior on the day of the crime. When searching Ponce Rocha's home, police found a garbage bag containing bloody rubber gloves and clothing. DNA analysis showed these bloodstains match Brianna's. The victim's mobile phone was also found in the suspect's car. It was known that he was an illegal immigrant from Mexico and had been living in Wausau for some time. Ponce Rocha's motive for the crime remained a mystery, making the case even more heartbreaking. There were no signs of theft or sexual assault, nor was there any clear enmity between the perpetrator and the victim. This made Brianna's death even more senseless and difficult to accept for her family and loved ones. Ponce Rocha was arrested just days after the crime. During interrogations, he denied all accusations and offered no explanation for the evidence found. Notably, there were no signs of theft or sexual assault, nor was there any clear animosity between the perpetrator and the victim. This made the motive for the crime a haunting mystery for the victim's family and the community. The trial of Raul Ponce Rocha at the Marathon County Courthouse in January 2011 was one of the most closely followed cases in Wausau's judicial history. The courtroom was packed with observers, including Brianna's family and friends, as well as many local residents who wanted to witness justice being served. Throughout the 10-day trial, prosecutors presented a detailed picture of Ponce Rocha's crime. Forensic evidence played a crucial role, particularly the DNA analysis from bloody rubber gloves and clothing found in the garbage bag at the suspect's home. Forensic experts confirmed that these blood stains match Brianna's DNA with near absolute certainty. Additionally, location data from the suspect's mobile phone showed he was near the crime scene at the estimated time of Brianna's murder. Many colleagues from El Tequila Salsa restaurant testified when they noticed changes in Ponce Rocha's attitude and behavior. Ponce Rocha's defense team tried to argue about the lack of clear motive and direct witnesses to the crime. They also questioned the police's evidence collection and preservation procedures. However, the overwhelming amount of circumstantial evidence made these efforts futile. Throughout the trial, Ponce Rocha maintained a cold demeanor and showed almost no emotion. He refused to testify and showed no remorse for his actions. This only increased the anger of Brianna's family and those present in court. When given his final right to speak, Ponce Rocha still maintained his innocence and claimed he was the victim of a conspiracy. However, these justifications failed to convince the jury. After only 4 hours of deliberation, they returned a guilty verdict for first-degree murder. During sentencing, Judge Vincent Howard emphasized the brutal nature of the crime and the defendant's lack of remorse. He sentenced Ponce Rocha to the maximum possible punishment, life in prison without the possibility of parole. When the verdict was read, many in the courtroom couldn't hold back their tears, while Ponce Rocha maintained his emotionless expression. The tragic news quickly spread throughout the small city of Wausau. The community had never witnessed such a brutal and heartbreaking murder case. Just days after Brianna's death, hundreds of people, especially her friends from DC Everest, gathered for an emotional memorial service. They couldn't believe that a friend, an excellent student, and a promising young woman could pass away so suddenly and tragically. Although the trial ended with a fair verdict, the question of motive remains a haunting mystery. Ponce Rocha took this secret to prison, leaving unanswered questions for Brianna's family. Perhaps this is partly why Craig Schneller still wishes to meet his daughter's killer after a decade, hoping to find an answer to this haunting why question. Now, after 10 years, Craig Schneller is 55 years old and works as a national sales representative. Living in Fridley, Minnesota, he shares that while time may heal some wounds, the pain remains. Sometimes the tragedy feels like it happened yesterday, sometimes like a lifetime ago. The anger from those days has transformed into an enduring sadness, lighter but ever present. Immediately after Brianna's death, Craig began a special journey. He started speaking at conferences and events across the country, sharing about the pain of losing a child and how to overcome life's challenges. From 2011 to 2013, he traveled extensively to tell his and Brianna's story. His main message was about facing adversity, but more importantly, he wanted people to understand that loss is inevitable in life, and we need to cherish our loved ones while they're with us. Now, Craig Schneller's main goal is to preserve his daughter's memory. He doesn't want people to remember Brianna by how she died, but by how she lived, a vibrant young woman with a bright smile and passionate love for life. That's why he decided to collaborate with the producers of Murder in the Heartland on Investigation Discovery. Although he had participated in some true crime shows before and wasn't satisfied with the results, this time he trusted the producers' approach. They wanted to focus on the impact of the case on the community and those close to Brianna. Rocky, Brianna's brother, and Hugo Ramirez also appeared in this program, along with investigators and her friends. For Rocky, recalling memories of his sister is still too painful, and he has chosen not to share more about this story with the press. Each spring is a difficult time for Craig Schneller. Memories of Brianna return through a familiar melody, a special event, or simply ordinary days. He shares that this is a never-ending process. Over time, things might get easier, but the moments of sadness still exist and can surface at any time. Brianna Schneller's story and her family's journey isn't just their tragedy, but the pain of the entire Wausau community. It reminds us of life's fragility, the importance of cherishing moments with loved ones, and the power of forgiveness in healing the deepest wounds of the soul. Though Brianna is gone, memories of her, her bright smile and optimistic spirit live on in the hearts of those who loved her.